Yeah, you see, I have spoken in the past about the efforts of the ISWAP to set up bases between the FCT in Abuja and Kogi State, Lokoja in Kogi State. We are seeing that coming to reality. I warned about the fact that ISWAP was planning to set up as many bases as possible between the Federal Capital Territory and Lokoja in Kogi State. ISWAP has now shown that it has presence in Kogi State. There is no debate about this anymore. We have terrorists who have set up their bases outside of the Northeast, outside of the Northwest, in the North Central, and parts of the Southwest, especially Ondo North. Otaru, who was arrested, shot in the leg while trying to escape, is an ISWAP commander who has been setting up cells in Kogi and some parts of the North Central. He's been involved in a number of attacks, and fortunately, I will say that the men of the DSS who had been on his trail were able to arrest him while trying to escape. They shot him in the leg. And then one of his foot soldiers, Saidu Suleiman, who is also an ISWAP commander, was also arrested and injured in the attempt to escape. He has carried out terrorist attacks and kidnappings in Kogi State, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, just before his arrest. On the 24th of June, Otaru was involved in the killing of 2 policemen in Eika in Kogi State. Eika is a community in Ebiraland. On the 5th of July, 2022, he was part of those who breached the security at Kuje prisons and set free ISWAP members. On the 5th of August, Otaru led the attack on West African Ceramic Company, Ajaokuta, during which they kidnapped some of the expatriates, killed an Indian expatriate, killed 2 drivers, and killed 2 policemen. The expatriates who were kidnapped in that attack were released on the 31st of August in Borno State. You can imagine carrying, they paid ransom. He collected ransom in Borno State. You can imagine kidnapping someone in Kogi State and collecting ransom in dollars in Borno State. That's to tell you the network of this individual. So this is a warning to us. We should stop fooling ourselves that these guys have been defeated and can only operate in only a small part of our country. Whoever says that terrorists have been defeated and have been limited to a small part of our country needs to get his head examined, because these terrorists are present in more places than we know. The attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, or the bombing of the church and the killing of many people, was masterminded by ISWAP men. These terrorists are cashing in on the proximity of Kogi State to Ondo North to enter the southwest and carry out attacks in the southwest. So Otaru and his people were involved in the attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo. So they are already doing their best to get into the southwest. The attack on the church in Owo was a clear terrorist attack. There is something called signature of crime, whereby talking about signature of crime, there are, when a criminal commits an offense, he leaves some trails. Investigators can use some of what they found at the scene to identify the criminal in terms of the idiosyncrasies of the criminal. So Otaru left what you call signature of crime at the scene of the vehicle laden bomb attack in Kogi, which enabled investigators to link him to the crime, because he's been on the radar of the DSS for some time, and there are certain things that they look for. Once those things are consistent with past deeds of the criminal, it will then set off alarm bells and get the investigators to start thinking in a particular direction, to get themselves convinced that this crime could have been carried out by this fellow, because this is the way this fellow carries out attacks. So the signature of crime ultimately leads, the signature of crime that the criminal leaves behind ultimately leads to the arrest of the criminal, you know. So this is what we have seen. Killing policemen, killing bus passengers, attacking and kidnapping people. These are things that Otaru and his men had been doing for some time, and no one should be in any doubt that ISIS, because of the pressure, because of the relentless bombing that they are facing in, I said ISIS, ISWAP, because of the relentless bombing that they are facing in the Northeast, they are moving to other parts of our country. And we have to be vigilant, we have to be ready, and we must realize that they have set up their cells already in some parts of our country. Some of the attacks that we actually attribute to bandits are actually carried out by these ISWAP men, because these days there's a thin line dividing the bandits and there's a thin line between the bandits and the terrorists. They are involved in kidnapping for money. They are involved in all kinds of things that are similar. So right. I would say that this is a wake-up call for us. Thankfully, the president and his minders were not injured in the attack, but it's terrible for a president to be visiting a town and then terrorists will go and launch an attack near the palace of the emir of the community that the president was visiting. Absolutely. So there's a need for greater vigilance as we go on in this year, the year that we will have elections. No one should doubt that these guys can carry out we will carry out more attacks as the days roll by. So this is the reality. We commend the DSS for their efforts in arresting these guys. We commend them for the arrest of the fellows who bombed the St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo. Ultimately, based on their hard work, we will be able to reduce incidents of bombing
absolutely,
and banditry in our country, if not exterminate it completely.
right.